What's up YouTube, it's Louis here bringing you today's cryptocurrency video. We're going to take a look at Firo on the highest of time frames and go down from there because I want to bring you guys some confidence and why we should stay positive with what's going on Firo, because what we see over here is something called accumulation. Before we get into this video, make sure you like, subscribe, comment and turn the notification bell on. Perfect. Let's take a look at Firo. So if you're in a bear market on the monthly time frame, that means you're going to be hitting your head on the 20 EMA. That is your bear market. Bear market, bear market, bear market. Get above it and confirm that as support, and that's when you start your bull market. And the thing is, guys, we've gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth through the 20, so it's like giving us some bear market scares. So really what we do want to hold on the monthly time frame, so we've got 8 days left, so we want to close above $6.60 by the end of this month, and this is where we could say yes, confirm, we're going to fly basically. And I'm going to give you new end of bull run targets for Firo basically. So what we can see, guys, is that the 55 EMA on the monthly and the 20 EMA are coming into this apex. I want to turn on my drawings, but I think there's too much on the screen. No, there's not even, so perfect. So we're going to come into an apex, guys. Can you see that? Where we're running out of space and we're just going sideways in and out, in and out, in and out before a break. Is that going to be to the downside? Or is it going to be to the upside? And this is what we want, obviously. We want to go into a bull market. But as long as you're above the 20, as long as you're above the 20 on the monthly, we're going to stay in a bull market. And so we want to just close in these next 8 or 9 days above this level of, let's just get the level exactly. $6.60, yeah, $6.60 basically. Let's take a look at the weekly and I'll turn on the fibs. So of course we obviously CoinsKid has put on the fibs, and that's how we know about Firo. So shout out CoinsKid. Obviously I know a lot of you are already following CoinsKid because that's how you know about Firo. So if you can, let him obviously give him a comment saying Louis sent you or whatnot. It's like or saying that Louis is bringing out loads of Firo videos to have a look, because I want him to notice the Firo updates. I don't think he's ever seen them yet. But he has agreed with a lot of my TA in the past, and that's like, I've shown you that in my pinned comments on Twitter, so make sure you're following my Twitter. I was giving out loads of updates yesterday about Bitcoin and potential scenarios, whether we go down or up. So make sure you watch that Bitcoin video. I'll put it in the link in the description, and it's a massive M pattern on the daily time frame, but it doesn't have to happen at all. I've given you targets in that video. It's just a bearish scenario. I'm never going to maintain a bias. I always will look at it from both sides basically. So on the weekly time frame, we formed a bullish cross back in March, and since then you haven't done the bearish cross, which is good. You have been losing the EMAs and going back above them. So what you do not want to see is Firo closing below and hitting your head constantly against this 55 weekly. If you do this, hit your head, hit your head, hit your head, then you're going to go into a bear. But this is not what's happened. You've fallen below, you got back above straight away, confirmed that support, met the 200, and when you meet the 200 EMA, you don't break it the first time. You come back to find support, and then we go attempt it again. But here, when you came back to support, you lost it, but you came to this level, this swing high. A lot of the cryptos were coming to this double bottom that it formed in July basically, which was our bottoming out structure, and just hitting the resistance like that, making it support before continuing up. And since then, look at that, low, higher low, and higher low. So even though it doesn't look the best right now for Firo, you're still holding the 55, and that's still a higher low. What happens, you fell below the 55, came to that, got back above, and then you attempted the 200 again. So obviously you won't break it the first time basically, because you lost the EMAs over here. So when you got back above, it's like you completely forget about this, like, because this was the first time. If it held this, then it would break it the second time, but you lost these EMAs and you came to a key level of support and you got back above them, confirmed the support. So this is like the first attempt again, and you don't break it on the first attempt. So what I want to see now is this hold, and then on this attempt maybe pull back and then break it, guys. If you do lose these again, you basically reset that, and then you come to it and then obviously pull back again, which would be annoying. We don't want to see that, so we must hold these EMAs. That monthly 20 is lining up with the weekly 55, and that's at around $7, and the level that we wanted to hold was $6.60, and I've given you this target anyway. Let's take a look at the daily now. So on the daily time frame, we had this large rising wedge and a technical target down here, which I gave you even before we got there, of course, at the bottom of the wedge. And I told you guys that worst case scenario, you come to this dip, which was $6.50, I think, out of this Fibonacci over here. Yeah, and look where that was. Let me get that exact. Yeah, 643. So look at that. So what happened here with that double bottom? You came back to it eventually. Look, we got one bottom, neckline, two. You came back to the wicks. Potentially, if you do get rejected here, we could come back down to in and around here. Hold this as support. That's what I'd like to see, and that's lining up exactly with the 618. So I'm gonna mark this level out, and look, you've wicked down to it there with the bottom of the wedge. The bodies are here, so that's why I was anticipating that. But if you do fall below this again, that's where you're coming to. At the moment, I don't see that. Obviously, when you have an impulsive wave, you retrace to the 618. It doesn't have to be the 618. It can be any of these three. You could have just stopped here if you wanted and then gone up. You could have stopped at 382 and gone up. But the thing is, at the 382, you form this descending triangle basically, or you can even say this M pattern. And then you lost the support, and then you're going down to your technical target. And because we're in this retracement anyway, you go to the 618, like max, and then go up from there. But if you do lose that, that's very negative, and you create a reversal wave back to the 1, and potentially you could double bottom here, which is what we'd like to see. But if you do lose $4.44, that's already a bear market, basically. You don't want to lose that. But even getting down there is already a bear market basically, because then you create this large M pattern which I gave you already with the target down here at like $2. So yeah, very negative, and this 1618 is already there anyway, so we don't want that to happen. I already gave you this scenario of this head and shoulders here as well, where the target's like in and around, I think down here. Let me get that again for you guys. Yeah, so yeah, exactly so we just don't want to even come there, guys, to be honest, not at all. So that's a scenario that we do not want to see for Firo. So let me just get rid of that for you. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I want to show you the fib levels. So we must get above this if we want to get the party started. We must close and confirm $10.80 as support. That's the key level. What I want to show you that is positive is this this falling wedge. Because now that you broke out of it, retested at support, made a high, retested at support again, support, higher low. Sorry, that's my cat. What, Lucky? If he carries on, I'm sorry, guys. We probably will carry on. So, you're making higher lows basically, and you've made a higher high. Beautiful. So after that, higher low over here, higher than this low. And so we are retracing. As long as when you break out of the falling wedge, you're making higher lows. That means you're on the journey to retracing back to the high. And that all-time high is here at $1.70 basically. So we are retracing to $1.70 as long as we keep printing higher lows basically. Higher lows, that's what we want to see. And now I remember CoinsKid saying that we could get to 1066 or 1066, but I want to give you some new targets because he made that video months and months and months ago. I want to update you guys constantly. So we know about this this fib down here. Let's go on a daily again. We know about the fibs down here where we can basically stop off at any of them. You've already lost the 0.50, but then you found support on this double bottom here. This swing low over here, this is your swing high. So we want to get above this swing high because look, it was a swing low before. And basically guys, when you lose a swing high or a swing low, you go to the next one and that should hold up. And if not, you go to swing high. If you lose that, swing low. But we don't want to go down here at all, guys, because you create that reversal wave with a higher probability of you breaking below this and then going into the bear market. But remember, we don't want to close the monthly below $6.60. Okay, that's a very key level, and that's already in and around here. Where's $6.60? Look, literally you're already here. So you bounce off that very nicely. And now we're creating a higher low, potentially. This is what I want to see on the daily. I want to see this close here, because then you're printing something called an ascending triangle, basically, which is also a double bottom. And this is on the daily time frame. And so if you do keep hitting support, going to the apex, you will eventually break out to the upside. That will give you a technical target. Look at that, to the top of this range basically. So this is your support and this is your resistance. Oh, sorry. And that target would be at the top. Look at that, at this wick. $9.26. So if we break that ascending triangle on the daily, we're going to $9.26. Remember this, guys. So we're going to keep going on the smaller time frames. We're on the daily at the moment. Look at the monthly, look at the weekly, look at the daily already. So make sure you like this video, and yeah, follow me on my socials. All of the links are down below. So yeah, what's positive is that you lost the 0.5, fair enough, but you held this swing low, and that's why you lost the 0.5, and you did not meet the 618. And since then, you got back above the 0.5, and you tried to break above the 382, but you can't do this on the first attempt. Look, when you got up here, you came back down, and did you break the 382 on the first attempt? No, you kept on making it a nuisance. Basically, you kept on making it weaker the more you tapped it. The weaker it gets is it gets weaker because you keep going to it. Basically, the bounces get less and less each time you come to it. Look, first time you bounce, massive. Second time, nice, even more, even a bit less, but more than over here. And then every time you bounce afterwards, it was getting less and less the bounce, showing you that the support was getting weaker and weaker. The swing high was not being able to hold as a swing low, and so you came to this one and you had a very nice bounce from here. So what we want to see now is the 0.50 close today, as we want to see this basically close above the 0.50. So we want to see a daily candle closure above $7.20, and this is acting as confluence. We'll go to the 4 hour right now. This is acting as confluence because out of this retracement, out of this retracement over here, which I gave you the bottom of the dip from, because remember guys, I called the bottom here, I was saying that we're going to hold this, but we could wick down to the 2.272, but we are going to hold this box because that was your rising wedge target, and it was also the swing low. So I said to you guys that when we were down here, we want to get back above the 1 at $7.25 if we want to finish the dip, or if we want to start making a bottoming out structure. Where are we holding right now? $7.25, and that is also the level on the daily that we want to see hold, because that is the 0.50. So look at that for confluence. Not only is that the 1 out of this retracement over here, I need to get that exact for you guys. Let me go on the 1 hour to get that exact. Yeah, so I'll go back to the 4. So yeah, out of this impulsive wave, we're not going to look at this because this is a scan wick, and I went through that in yesterday's video. So if you missed that, watch that video about the scan wick. But look at that, you've had this impulsive wave, and you've come down, and you've now respected this, which is in line with that 618. So I'm going to drag this box down a bit so it's lining up with that larger 0.5, this 618, and this swing high over here, and this swing low over here. So it's all beautiful. Look at that for confluence, guys. Everything's telling us that this is the level that we want to see hold. $7.17 to $7.25, which I gave you like literally 2-3 days ago already. So it's looking beautiful at the moment, but yeah, we need to hold it. It's nice that it's also sitting on a swing high over here. Very, very nice. So yesterday I gave you some potential scenarios out of this zone over here. I told you that the bulls and the bears were fighting because we had this descending triangle, but also an ascending triangle. And so if it broke to the upside here, Firo would have had a technical target at $8. But I told you guys, if you do lose this support, you got a target down here at this swing low at $7.06, basically $7. But at the moment, you haven't met that target, and you don't need to. And a clue that you won't need to is if you can get above this support again. If you can get above $7.50, the dip will be done. Okay, if you can get above $7.50, you won't meet this technical target. I mean, that's what I mean. Until then, you're going to still meet it. I've just drawn this ascending triangle, which is also a double bottom, and we are inside of it still. But just because it's a bullish pattern, again, guys, doesn't have to play out. So just like this, it doesn't have to play out. So we're going to remove this now. Sorry, that's my cat again. Demanding cat. So you did break to the upside because of that ascending triangle, but you didn't break the resistance of it, and then you lost the support. Coming back down to the support of this, and we know Firo has a lot of gaps in the market, and so we lost the support, and this is our technical target at this swing low here. I'm not going to really draw it out. I don't really. I'll just drag this up a bit. There we go. Oh, I didn't even. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, so your technical target's down here at $7 basically, but we don't have to meet it, especially if we can break out of this ascending triangle or this double bottom. So I'm going to get you the target out of that now, if we can break up. And look at that, where is the 20 EMA on the 1 hour? Exactly at that resistance. So the thing is, guys, because that's where the 20 is. That's your continuation. This is telling you your trend, basically. We're in a downtrend on the 1 hour, so we could hit our head and then lose support and head to this target. But that would be below the 618. So we would have to pray that when we come down to here, we don't hit our head, because if you do hit your head, that's when you form that larger reversal wave. Okay, so we can lose it, that's fine, but as long as you can get back above it, like what we saw with that larger 0.50 on the higher time frames. Where is that? Yeah, this one, like we saw here, where we went under over here, but then now confirming that as support. So we do need to see that area hold, guys, and if so, we're bouncing off the 618 and that larger 0.50, and we can work our way through the fibs, basically. And look at that, once we break this resistance, which is the trend lines, it takes us to the 200 EMA. Look at that for confluence. We will get rejected the first time. It'll be sus if we break it the first time. Look, boom, came back straight below and then lost the support. So I want to see it respect. I want to see it come to here, come back to the EMAs, hold the EMAs, and then that's when we set off, basically. So that's what I want to see for Firo. There is more. I want to give you the new impulsive wave targets out of this, basically for the end of bull run targets, or the next impulsive wave targets out of this large dip once we get above $10.80. Remember, once we get above $10.80, which I gave you earlier on in the video, that's when we get the party started. Okay, guys, so I'm going to remove this for now, but let's go on the daily again. So I'm going to remove this as well. I can just put that on in the next video. So we had this massive dip since when was it? May, and our bottom was July, right? And so we're obviously retracing through the fibs. A precursor to the fact that you're going to get to the 618s if you can hold the 382 at support. And look at that for confluence, guys. Beautiful. That 382 is at $6.70. And what's the level that we must hold on the monthly? $6.60. So 10 cents off. But it's just telling you the key zones, because it's not a single line. Remember, it's zones. And that's why we have to look at every time frame, because every time frame gives us different levels. So everything's basically saying that we basically need to stay above $6.60 or to $7 basically. And so look at that. Look, when we get above the 618, when we get above $11, which is lining up with our $10.80, when I said we'll get the party started, we will then retrace to the one at $24, and that's your local high, basically. Not your all-time high, but your local high. And when we zoom out, where is the 618 out of this larger weekly bear market, so to say? 30. So look at that. This is the strong zone that we need to get above, the $25 to $30 zone. This $5 zone is the must break zone to really get to these next impulsive wave targets above. But the precursor that you're going to get to 30 is if we can get above $10.80 and confirm that support, because this is your local high here, and this is your next local high. That's your all-time high. So we will be retracing that, especially if we're getting above $25, $30, because that's when we really get the party started, because this is the largest 618. When you get above 30, that's what sends you to the all-time high at $1.70. Okay, so my next impulsive wave target is once we get above the $10.80, we are heading once we get above $10.80, we're heading to the 1618 at, let's say, $90. Let's say a round number. After this, we could pull back, like maybe even worst case $30, but I think that we could hold the 1272. It's hard to say before we get there, but usually once you get to the 1618, you do hold the 1.272, but there are cases where you come back to the 1, basically. So what I'm expecting, get above the 618, get to 1618, hold the 1.272, and this is your new bull run target for Firo, $372. This is what I'm seeing for Firo, which breaks the all-time high. And obviously if we get a bit more parabolic, that's your next target, 567. But at the moment, I'm not even going to say 567. I'm going with $370 for Firo from current price, guys. If you're not in Firo, this is not financial advice. This is all for educational purposes only. But I always get, oh, Louis, I'm looking for an entry on Firo. Guys, look where the target is. 5,000% from current price. Does it matter where you get in? There's too many short-term people here. Just buy and hodl. You don't need to trade, okay? You don't even need to trade. Just buy and hodl and sit in your hands. Because everything in between here the 618, and here is waffle. Okay, you're gonna have massive dips along the way, but they do not matter, because this is your target. The 1618 minimal $92 minimal. But that's taking you above this 618. When you get above the 618, that means that you're getting to your all-time high at the one, which is $1.70. But if you can hold support above the one over here, if you can hold support above $24, we're going to 2.272 at 372. This is what you guys need to realize. So your entry does not matter at all. And if you can maybe find support on the all-time high, or even $200, let's say, because that's a nice psychological level. If we get to 372 and then hold $200, that'd be a fat dip already, wouldn't it? 45%. If you can hold that support 200, then we're going to go to the 1.272 at 560, 570. But at the moment, I don't want to be a moon boy at all, guys. Minimal 92, and then, to be honest, my end of year target end of bull run target 372. But it could well be 92, and I'm wrong about 372. But guys, this is how the fibs work. If you can hold key levels of support, especially that one, eventually we're going to get up here at 372. Perfect, guys. I hope you enjoyed this in-depth fire update. This was definitely my favorite update for you guys. Make sure you share this with everyone you know. Even retweet my post, or quote retweet my post, and then mention CoinsKid. Say to CoinsKid, watch this video, it's so worth it. It's new impulsive wave targets for Firo. Perfect, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one, and as always, peace.